it extended aid, thus facilitating the emergence of a healthy economy and pattern. That's what the white German American said. We got to get our people up. Now, this same continent you call Europe, if you look at the scheme, is now one of the trilateral parts. How could a continent that was destroyed to the point that it couldn't feed itself now become part of the world economic scheme where they are holding debt over my head, your head, and the rest of it? What happened? So when we look at the trilateral, it only represents who? Those Western European countries, the former colonial powers. They added Japan on at the end. The United States joined together using the NATO, the UN, and IMF and World Bank. They established the GATT, the Agreement of Tariff, General Agreement of Tariff and Trade on how the world economy is going to run in 1945, made up by white people. You had nothing to do with it, but you got to follow the rules. Who got more guns? They got more guns than you. But because of this fact of World War II primarily, then you, Africans and Asians, began to get their little bit of independence. And that started the movement of independence to African Asian people. And then you know about the different wars and struggles that brought us to the point. So now 1945, these Europeans are band together. They got weapons to get atomic weapons. These European countries control 85, 90, 95% of all the world's resources. So if you wanted to develop as an African country, so if you look down on number 4, independent nations, us, non-industrializing. You want to begin to feed yourself. You go to number 8, independent nations industrializing. You now, as an African Asian country, find yourself in 1945 in a world environment where you're struggling to become from under colonialism, but the people who had you under colonialism still got gun to your head. They still control the oil and the wood and the food. So what you have to do is you have to ascribe and buy in to this IMF World Bank structure that they set up because you don't have weapons. And that's how we got locked into it. Now, when we later, if not this time, the next time, you will see how we're getting unlocked by virtue of the fact that America, at this point, controlled 50% of all manufactured goods and 50% of the world's economy came through America. So they could squeeze and embargo you. They had weapons so they can kill Lumumba, they can knock off the Shah. They could do it then. But now America controls less than 9% of the world's economy. So anybody they sanction has no meaning because they don't control it anymore. And not only that, you got other countries like China, India, Pakistan, and others who now have large armies but now have the bomb. Yes, sir. And we will get it from our Asian friends. So now things are evening up. And that's why Fidel Castro has never gone under an IMF structural program, and they're still around for 37 years. So you don't have to ascribe to them. So you say, well, how did Nigeria and how did these countries get locked into this IMF? Started in 1945 with the white European German having the control of the weapon and control of the natural resources. You had to do what they told you. But now the world being different, the bets are all off. So now let's go down to 5. You now want to industrialize. We're Ghana. We want to become industrial, 1947. But if we need oil, who we have to go to? A white man, because he controlled the oil, right? Now we don't have to go to the white, but if you wanted oil, you had to go to European. They control it. You wanted copper. You wanted tin. You had to go to a European at that point. So everybody had to go to the IMF and World Bank, all Asians, all Africans, to get what they needed to make world trade, because who controlled the world trade? At that point, Europeans. So you got stuck with the loan. You had to pay it back. And so what would happen is, as you get the loan, of course, the way they structure it, you never get to pay back. So what is it that you have to now send? We're Ghana. So we get some oil from America. We get some copper from America that they're stealing from another African country. And America says, okay, England, you owe us $2 billion. But what do you have to send in place of $2 billion? What do they want? Do they want paper? What do they want back? Number 6. So what do the African and Asian countries get locked into? Sending back to pay back this little loan. So for me to get a few barrels of oil and some copper, the way the GATT, the Agreement of Tariff and Trade, got it locked up in here, I now got to give you half of my coin. half of my wheat, half of my gold, half of my timber. So that's how they get the raw materials back again. How they get the labor back again in the technology. So the Europeans had to devise a method where they can still get the labor, raw materials and technology, but not physically be there to conquer you, because they couldn't hold you. So they had the IMF scheme. So now if you want to do trade and get something, you got to come through a European. And they set the terms of the trade on what you must pay them back with. So the African Asian countries then turn around and number 6 have to pour back into what? United States and Europe, gold, rubber, tin, food. So now they're stronger and stronger. You're getting poorer and poorer, but you can't break the cycle because your mind isn't clear and your guns aren't clear. And you don't control the raw materials yet. So now you're feeding. So we caught in that cycle. That's why Africa, 90% of everything Africa makes, they have to send it to America and Europe. 90% of everything they generate. So you see why America and Europe stay rich and you stay poor. Now the United States has another scheme. They say, look, we don't want to put any industry in Africa. But what we'll do is let's put some industry in South Korea. Let's choose a country that's friendly to us that we can control. Isn't it a coincidence that the United States didn't pour in any industrial development into North Korea? None into North Vietnam? None into China? None into any place they didn't control. So what did they do? They went to Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia. These countries who were coming from under colonialism, like Nigeria and Ghana, weak, and had to ascribe to this thing. Then you get a handful of people in those governments, we'll make you rich. You do this and we'll set you up, and the hell with the rest of the people.